Let me tell you something about self-respect. It's not just a word, it's the foundation of how the world will treat you. The moment you compromise your dignity, the moment you let someone walk all over your worth, you set a dangerous precedent. There are some lines, my friends, that must never be crossed. And if they are crossed, you don't just forgive and forget. You rise up, stand firm, and know when it's time to walk away. When someone consistently lies to you, it erodes the foundation of trust that any relationship is built on. Trust is not just an optional feature of a partnership, it's the backbone, the glue that holds everything together. When a person lies, it's not just about the falsehood itself, it's about what that lie represents. It's a conscious decision to withhold the truth, to manipulate the narrative, and ultimately, to disregard the respect you deserve as their partner. A single lie may seem insignificant in isolation, but repeated lies create a pattern that speaks volumes about a person's character and intentions. Lying is not simply a mistake. It's a choice to deceive you, to undermine the honesty and transparency that should exist between two people who care about each other. When your partner lies consistently, they are not just protecting themselves or avoiding conflict. They are placing their own comfort above your right to know the truth. They are choosing their convenience over your peace of mind. And that choice reveals a fundamental lack of respect for you as an individual. Respect isn't just about being kind or courteous. It's about valuing someone enough to be honest with them, even when the truth is difficult or uncomfortable. Consistent lying creates a ripple effect in a relationship. It starts with small lies, ones that may seem harmless at first. Maybe they lied about where they were, who they were with, or something trivial. You brush it off, thinking it's not worth the argument. But those small lies set a precedent. They normalize dishonesty. They condition you to accept a lower standard of truth in your relationship. And as time goes on, those small lies grow into bigger ones. Before you know it, you're in a relationship where you're constantly second-guessing everything they say. That kind of uncertainty is toxic. It keeps you on edge, it breeds anxiety, and it chips away at your sense of security. The damage doesn't stop there. Consistent lying has a way of making you doubt yourself. You start to question your own perceptions, your instincts, and your understanding of reality. This is particularly true if your partner denies their lies or tries to make you feel like you're overreacting. This tactic, often referred to as gaslighting, can leave you feeling confused and disoriented. Over time, you may start to wonder if you're the problem, if you're being too sensitive or demanding. But let me tell you something, expecting honesty in a relationship is not demanding. It's not unreasonable. It's the bare minimum. A partner who lies consistently is someone who prioritizes their own needs over the health of the relationship. They lie because it's easier than telling the truth. They lie because it allows them to avoid accountability. They lie because they don't want to deal with the consequences of their actions. But in doing so, they rob you of your ability to make informed decisions. When someone lies to you, they are taking away your right to choose how to respond to the truth. They are controlling the narrative, and in doing so, they are controlling you. It's important to recognize that lying is not just an act of deception, it's an act of betrayal. When you love someone, you open yourself up to them. You make yourself vulnerable. You trust them with parts of yourself that you don't share with anyone else. When they lie, they exploit that vulnerability. They take advantage of the trust you've given them. And that kind of betrayal cuts deep. It's not something that can be easily repaired with an apology or a promise to do better. Trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. And in some cases, it may never fully recover. A person who lies consistently is someone who lacks integrity. Integrity is about doing the right thing, even when it's hard. It's about being honest, even when the truth is inconvenient. A partner with integrity values honesty, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because they understand its importance in building a strong, healthy relationship. They understand that lying, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, undermines the connection between two people. They understand that honesty is a sign of respect, of care, and of love. If your partner consistently lies to you, it's a red flag that cannot be ignored. It's a sign that they are not fully invested in the relationship, that they are not willing to put in the effort required to maintain honesty and trust. It's a sign that they do not value you enough to be truthful, even when the truth is difficult. And if they don't value you enough to be honest, you have to ask yourself, what are you holding on to? A relationship without trust is not a relationship, it's a facade. It's a house built on sand, and eventually it will crumble. The harsh reality is that consistent lying is a choice that reveals a lack of respect, care, and commitment. It's a choice that prioritizes self-interest over the health and stability of the relationship. And it's a choice that no one should tolerate. You deserve better than to be in a relationship where you have to question everything your partner says. You deserve honesty, respect, and a partner who values your trust enough to protect it. Because without trust, love cannot thrive. And without honesty, there is no foundation for a lasting connection. When someone disrespects your boundaries, it sends a clear message they do not value your feelings, needs, or limits. Boundaries are the invisible lines we set to protect ourselves, our well-being, and our sense of identity. They're not just arbitrary rules, they're an expression of self-respect and self-worth. When a partner disregards those boundaries, they are not just crossing a line, they are demonstrating a lack of respect for you as an individual. A healthy relationship thrives on mutual respect, and without it, the foundation begins to crumble. Disrespecting boundaries can take many forms. It might look like ignoring your requests for space, pressuring you into situations you're not comfortable with, or dismissing your opinions and preferences. It might mean consistently showing up late when you've expressed the importance of punctuality, or invading your privacy despite your requests for personal space. Whatever form it takes, the underlying issue is the same: a refusal to acknowledge and honor your needs. This behavior erodes trust and creates an environment where you feel unheard, unimportant, and even unsafe. Boundaries are a way of saying, this is who I am, and this is what I need to feel respected and valued. They are not walls meant to shut others out, but bridges that allow healthy relationships to flourish. When a partner ignores those boundaries, it's a sign that they are prioritizing their own desires over your comfort and well-being. It's not just about the specific boundary they've crossed. It's about the broader message they're sending. They're saying that what they want matters more than what you need. And that kind of imbalance is toxic to any relationship. One of the most harmful aspects of boundary violations is the way they make you question yourself. You might start to wonder if you're being unreasonable or too sensitive. You might feel guilty for asserting your needs or worry that enforcing your boundaries will drive your partner away. But let me be clear, setting boundaries is not selfish. It's not unfair. It's an essential act of self-care. When someone disrespects your boundaries, the problem is not with you or your limits, it's with their inability to respect you as a person. Disregarding boundaries also creates a pattern of control. When someone repeatedly crosses the lines you've set, they're essentially trying to dictate the terms of the relationship. They're saying, my way is the only way. This kind of behavior is not about compromise or mutual understanding, it's about dominance. It's about exerting control over you and the relationship. Over time, this dynamic can become deeply damaging, leaving you feeling powerless and disconnected from your own needs and desires. A partner who disrespects your boundaries is also showing a lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes and considering how your actions might affect them. When someone ignores your boundaries, they are choosing to disregard how their behavior makes you feel. They are choosing their comfort over your discomfort, their convenience over your peace of mind. That lack of empathy is a red flag, one that should not be ignored. Repeated boundary violations can also lead to resentment. When your boundaries are consistently disrespected, it's natural to feel angry, frustrated, or hurt. Those feelings don't just go away, they build up over time. They create a barrier between you and your partner, making it harder to connect on a deep and meaningful level. Resentment is like poison in a relationship. It seeps into every interaction, making it difficult to communicate, to trust, and to feel close to one another. And once resentment takes root, it's incredibly hard to undo. Respecting boundaries is a fundamental part of any healthy relationship. It's about recognizing that your partner is a separate individual with their own needs, feelings, and limits. It's about understanding that love is not about control or dominance. It's about partnership and mutual respect. When someone disrespects your boundaries, they are failing to meet the most basic requirement of a loving and respectful relationship. They are failing to see you as an equal, as someone whose needs and feelings matter just as much as their own. In some cases, a partner might try to justify their boundary violations. They might say things like, "I just care about you," or "I didn't think it was a big deal," but caring about someone doesn't mean disregarding their limits. In fact, true care and love are demonstrated through respect and understanding. If someone truly values you, they will listen when you set a boundary. They will take the time to understand why it's important to you and make an effort to honor it. Excuses and justifications are just a way of deflecting responsibility, and they should not be tolerated. It's also worth noting that repeated boundary violations can have a lasting impact on your mental and emotional health. They can leave you feeling drained, anxious, and unsure of yourself. They can make you doubt your instincts and question your worth. Over time, this kind of treatment can erode your sense of self, making it harder to stand up for yourself and enforce your boundaries in the future. That's why it's so important to address boundary violations as soon as they happen. You deserve to feel safe, respected, and valued in your relationship, and that starts with having your boundaries honored. A partner who consistently disrespects your boundaries is showing you who they are. They are showing you that they are unwilling or unable to provide the respect and consideration that a healthy relationship requires. It's not your job to teach someone how to respect you. It's not your responsibility to constantly remind them of your limits. A partner who truly cares for you will respect your boundaries because they understand that doing so is an essential part of loving and valuing you. And if someone can't do that, they are not the partner you deserve. When someone makes you feel small, they are doing more than just criticizing you or pointing out your flaws. They are diminishing your sense of self-worth and self-esteem. They are chipping away at your confidence and making you question your value as a person. This behavior is toxic and deeply damaging because it targets the core of who you are, making you feel insignificant and less than what you truly are. In a relationship, it's not enough to just feel loved or cared for in the moment. You need to feel respected, valued, and seen for who you are. Making someone feel small can take many forms, but it often starts with subtle remarks, passive-aggressive comments, or even body language that communicates disdain or superiority. It can be a cutting remark about your appearance, your intelligence, or your abilities. It might be a comment that undermines your achievements or dismisses your thoughts and feelings. At first, these small jabs might seem like nothing more than careless words or jokes, but over time, they accumulate and create a damaging pattern. The person making you feel small is asserting their dominance, whether they realize it or not, by making you feel inferior or unimportant. When this happens consistently, it wears you down. It starts to affect how you see yourself. You may begin to internalize their criticisms and doubts, questioning whether you're good enough, smart enough, or worthy of love and respect. The more you hear these words, the more they start to echo in your mind. You may begin to doubt your abilities, your choices, and even your value as a partner, friend, or individual. This kind of emotional manipulation is damaging because it leads to self-doubt and insecurity. Instead of feeling empowered and confident in your own skin, you feel small, insignificant, and unworthy of respect or love. A partner who constantly makes you feel small is not supporting your growth or encouraging your development. In a healthy relationship, both individuals lift each other up, motivate one another, and celebrate each other's successes. When someone consistently puts you down, they are not contributing to your growth, they are stunting it. They are focused on elevating themselves at your expense, and this dynamic creates an unhealthy imbalance. Rather than building you up, they're tearing you down, creating a relationship where you feel less than, where your accomplishments are minimized, and where your worth is constantly questioned. This behavior also creates a power imbalance. In any healthy relationship, both partners should feel equal and valued. But when someone makes you feel small, they are asserting dominance over you. They are positioning themselves as the one who is better, more capable, or more important. This power dynamic can be especially damaging because it leaves you feeling powerless. You may start to question your voice, your needs, and your desires because your partner's voice is so much louder, their needs so much more important. Over time, you may even start to defer to them in all things, disregarding your own feelings and opinions, because you've been made to feel that they don't matter. Being constantly made to feel small can also create a sense of isolation. When you're repeatedly belittled or invalidated, you begin to feel alone in the relationship. You may start to withdraw because you don't want to deal with the hurtful comments or because you feel like no one truly understands you. Your self-esteem takes a hit and you begin to lose sight of your value. This isolation only reinforces the negative narrative your partner has created, making you feel even more small and insignificant. There's a psychological toll that comes with this kind of treatment. Over time, being made to feel small can lead to feelings of depression, anxiety, and hopelessness. When you're constantly told that you're not enough, it can take a toll on your mental health. You start to feel like you're not deserving of love, respect, or happiness. You may feel like you're always walking on eggshells, never knowing when the next criticism or insult will come. This constant fear and self-doubt are emotionally exhausting. It can make you feel like you're stuck in a cycle you can't break, where you're constantly trying to prove your worth to someone who refuses to see it. Making someone feel small also disregards their individuality. In a relationship, both partners should be able to bring their unique qualities, strengths, and perspectives to the table. When one person constantly diminishes the other, they are not honoring who they are as a person. They are ignoring the uniqueness that makes them special and instead focusing on tearing them down. This undermines the beauty of the connection you should share because the other person is not seeing you for who you truly are. They're only focused on making themselves feel superior. This behavior often undermines your ability to trust your own instincts and decisions. When someone constantly criticizes you or makes you feel small, it can make you second guess yourself at every turn. You start to doubt your judgment, your opinions, and your actions because you've been made to feel that you don't have the right to stand firm in your own truth. This kind of manipulation prevents you from developing a strong sense of self. It leaves you vulnerable, questioning everything you believe and everything you've worked for. When someone makes you feel small, they are actively devaluing you. They are ignoring your worth, dismissing your feelings, and ignoring your needs. No one should ever make you feel less than what you are. You are deserving of respect, love, and support, not constant belittling and put downs. A healthy relationship is one where both partners lift each other up, where both feel seen, valued, and heard. When someone makes you feel small, it's a sign that the relationship is toxic and imbalanced. You deserve to be with someone who sees you for your greatness, who encourages you to be the best version of yourself, and who never makes you question your worth. When someone cheats on you, it's not just about betrayal, it's a profound violation of trust, respect, and love. The person you trusted, the one you opened your heart to, has chosen to act in a way that disregards the emotional bond you shared. Cheating is not a simple mistake or a momentary lapse in judgment. It's a conscious decision to disregard the boundaries of the relationship and the commitment that was made. The pain that comes with being cheated on goes beyond the act itself. It cuts deep into the foundation of your emotional well-being, leaving you feeling rejected, betrayed, and unworthy. Cheating often feels like an assault on your self-esteem. You begin to question everything about yourself. You wonder what you did wrong, why they weren't satisfied, or whether you could have done something to prevent it. The feelings of inadequacy can consume you, leaving you unsure of who you are or what you deserve in a relationship. It's easy to get caught up in self-blame, but the truth is, the responsibility for cheating lies with the person who broke the trust, not with you. Cheating is a choice, and it reflects more about the person who commits it than it does about the person being cheated on. The emotional impact of cheating can be devastating. Trust is the bedrock of any healthy relationship, and once it's broken, it can be nearly impossible to rebuild. Trust isn't just about believing that someone is faithful. It's about feeling secure in the knowledge that your partner values you, respects you, and is committed to your relationship. When that trust is shattered by infidelity, it leaves you questioning everything: the moments you thought were real, the promises that were made, and the love that you believed was mutual. The emotional toll can leave you feeling emotionally drained, confused, and deeply hurt. In many cases, cheating also creates a sense of isolation. You may feel like you can no longer turn to the person you once trusted with your deepest emotions and vulnerabilities. The intimacy that was once shared can be replaced with a cold, distant silence as you try to process the pain of betrayal on your own. It's a lonely place to be, especially when the person who hurt you is the one you relied on for support, comfort, and companionship. The very foundation of your relationship has been compromised, and the loneliness that comes with that can be suffocating. Cheating can also leave a lasting scar on your ability to trust others in the future. If someone you loved and trusted could betray you in such a painful way, it can make it difficult to open your heart to others. You may start to question whether love is real or whether it's always just a facade. The fear of being hurt again can prevent you from fully engaging in future relationships. The scars left by infidelity are not easily healed, and they can shape your outlook on love and trust for years to come. Another devastating aspect of cheating is the emotional manipulation that often accompanies it. In some cases, the person who cheated may try to downplay the severity of their actions, making excuses or blaming you for their behavior. They may claim that they were unhappy, that they made a mistake, or that it meant nothing. These attempts to minimize the hurt and the betrayal only serve to deepen the wound. It's not just the act of infidelity that hurts, it's the lack of accountability, the failure to take responsibility for the pain they caused. When they make excuses or try to justify their actions, it's a further betrayal of the emotional connection you thought you shared. Cheating also forces you to face the reality of your partner's character. You may have thought you knew them, trusted them, and believed in their love for you. But when they cheat, it forces you to confront the fact that they were capable of hurting you in this way. It's a harsh wake-up call that forces you to question the authenticity of everything they ever said to you, every promise they made, and every moment you shared. You may begin to wonder if the love they professed was real or just an illusion. This realization can be gut-wrenching and disorienting, as it challenges everything you thought you knew about your partner and your relationship. One of the most painful things about being cheated on is the sense of violation. You gave your partner a part of yourself, your trust, your love, your vulnerability, and they took it and betrayed it. The emotional investment you made in the relationship now feels like it was in vain. You may feel like your heart has been taken from you, trampled on, and discarded without a second thought. This violation of trust can leave you feeling exposed and raw, as though you were never truly valued or respected by the person who was supposed to cherish you. The aftermath of cheating often involves a cycle of uncertainty and confusion. You may find yourself constantly questioning whether your partner truly loves you or whether they will betray you again. Every interaction, every word, every touch is scrutinized as you search for signs of deceit. This constant doubt can prevent you from healing, as you find it difficult to move on from the trauma of being cheated on. The emotional roller coaster can leave you feeling stuck, unable to move forward or let go of the past. It's important to recognize that cheating is a reflection of the person who committed the act. It's not a reflection of your worth, your beauty, or your ability to love. Infidelity is about a lack of respect, commitment, and integrity. The person who cheats may have their own issues, insecurities, or flaws, but that is no excuse for their betrayal. You deserve a partner who values and respects you enough to be faithful, who understands that true love is built on trust, loyalty, and honesty. If someone cheats on you, they are telling you that they are not the partner you need or deserve. And while it may be painful to face this reality, it is important to recognize that you are worthy of a love that is whole, honest, and free from betrayal. When someone shows no remorse for their actions, especially when those actions have caused you pain, it becomes incredibly difficult to move forward in the relationship. Remorse is a key indicator of a person's emotional maturity and their ability to understand the impact of their actions. It shows that they recognize the hurt they've caused, that they take responsibility for it, and that they are genuinely sorry. Without this, all you're left with is someone who seems indifferent to your suffering, as if it doesn't matter to them. This lack of remorse can be even more damaging than the original offense because it reflects a deeper issue in the relationship, a lack of empathy, respect, and accountability. When your partner does something that hurts you, it's natural to expect them to feel some sense of guilt or regret. The pain you experience is real, and it should be acknowledged by the person who caused it. However, when they show no remorse, it signals that they don't care about your feelings, and that can feel like an emotional betrayal in itself. It's not just about the hurt they caused, it's about their inability or unwillingness to understand how their actions affect you. It makes you question if they ever truly cared about your emotional well-being or if they were simply concerned with their own needs and desires. A lack of remorse can make you feel invisible. You might express your hurt, your frustration, and your need for an apology. But if the other person refuses to acknowledge it, it can feel like you're not even worthy of consideration. It becomes a painful realization that the person you trusted to have your back doesn't care enough to validate your feelings. This emotional neglect can leave you questioning your own worth. You start to wonder if your emotions and needs matter at all. The person you've given so much of yourself to is treating your pain as insignificant. And that's a harsh blow to anyone's self-esteem. The absence of remorse also shows a fundamental lack of accountability. When someone doesn't feel sorry for what they've done, they aren't acknowledging that they have made a mistake. Instead, they may try to shift blame, make excuses, or minimize the gravity of their actions. They might say things like, "I didn't mean it," or "It wasn't that bad," further invalidating your pain. This lack of accountability is dangerous because it prevents the relationship from ever healing. Without acknowledgement of the wrongdoing, there can be no real resolution, no way to move past it. The wound remains open, and the relationship continues to fester with unresolved tension and resentment. The absence of remorse can signal a lack of growth and emotional maturity. Remorse is a sign of someone who has the emotional capacity to learn from their mistakes, to reflect on their actions, and to change their behavior. If your partner shows no remorse, it suggests they are not capable of this self-reflection. It becomes clear that they are either unwilling or unable to change, and this can be a deeply unsettling realization. If they cannot own their mistakes, there's little chance that they will put in the effort to improve themselves or the relationship. This stagnation can make you feel stuck, as if you're carrying the burden of the relationship on your own while the other person remains indifferent. It's not just the lack of an apology that hurts, it's the lack of effort to make things right. Remorse isn't just about feeling bad for what they did, it's about taking steps to make amends and demonstrate a genuine desire to change. When someone shows no remorse, they are not taking responsibility for their actions, and this leaves you in a position where you have to carry all the emotional weight. This dynamic isn't healthy, and it can drain you emotionally, leaving you exhausted and defeated. Over time, you may begin to question whether it's worth continuing to invest in a relationship where your partner refuses to take accountability for their actions. The absence of remorse erodes the trust that holds the relationship together. Trust is built on the foundation of mutual respect and understanding. When one person violates that trust and shows no remorse, it becomes almost impossible to repair the damage. If the person you love is unwilling to acknowledge their role in hurting you, they are essentially telling you that you cannot rely on them to do the right thing, to protect you, or to prioritize your emotional safety. This realization can feel like a betrayal of the deepest kind, especially if you've poured your heart into the relationship. It can also be frustrating to deal with the emotional confusion that comes with a partner who shows no remorse. On the one hand, you may still have feelings of love for them, wanting to believe that they are capable of change or that they are just struggling with their own issues. But on the other hand, you are confronted with the stark reality that they are not acknowledging the harm they've caused. This disconnect can create a sense of emotional dissonance, where you feel torn between your feelings for them and the painful truth that they are not showing any signs of remorse. The lack of remorse can create an unhealthy power dynamic in the relationship. If your partner feels no obligation to apologize or to make things right, it places you in the position of always having to forgive them without receiving anything in return. This one-sided emotional labor can be draining, and over time, it can lead to feelings of resentment and frustration. In a healthy relationship, both parties are accountable for their actions, willing to make amends, and ready to work together to heal. But when one person shows no remorse, it undermines the foundation of partnership and fairness, leaving you with a sense of emotional imbalance. The inability or unwillingness to show remorse in a relationship is a serious red flag. It points to a lack of empathy, accountability, and emotional maturity. Without remorse, healing becomes impossible, and trust is irreparably damaged. If your partner refuses to acknowledge the pain they've caused, you may be left with no choice but to let go and move on. Seeking a relationship where mutual respect and accountability are the cornerstones. So the next time someone crosses these lines, remember this: you are worthy. You are enough. And you deserve better. Always.